DeSilvis for In the News podcast update for today for August the 14th, 2014 already. I just wanted to update in a statement about Robin Williams' death. I said that he died due to alcohol overdose poisoning. That was incorrect. I want to retract that statement and say how he really died. They say that he had a belt around his neck that was attached to a door, and they did believe that when he pulled back, when he pulled back, it broke his neck, and that's how he died. Some people were reporting that he overdosed also on pills. They found him, and they say both of his wrists were cut. Now, the man did some good, he did some good. He made some good movies for kids, but he was a man of the system, and he had a lot of views for evolution and some of them when you looked at some of the stuff that he said, and he also had views of New World Order. So he was a yes man for that. He had drug addiction back in the 80s, and then early 90s he had battles with alcoholism, and then just last month, before he died at age 63, he was admitted into a hospital to help battle alcoholism once again. Like I said, our prayers and thoughts and condolences go out to him, but there are other things that he did that weren't so good, like being of the New World Order, having a lot of the views, and he really wasn't a godly man, but he did do some good things. But I guess that might have been maybe guilt, or maybe he was doing it out of the necessity to give back to the community by doing things for the kids and things like he did, because he did do things like that. But at the same time, he still had a problem with drinking and with drugs. But the thing is, he was really in for the New World Order and really in for him. He had a lot of problems with depression, and there are a lot of people that have often that are talented like that in that field that do have problems with depression. And it's sad to say that Robin Williams was one of those cases. A lot of times, it's proven that they do. But like I said, our heart and prayers go out to the daughter, who's 25 years old. She said that on her Instagram account, she said she's thinking she's going to stay off there for a while, and she's just not sure she's going to keep this account because I've said some horrible things about her father and were not necessary or warranted. Some people have said things to her about her father on there, and the media has been trying to steal pictures of Robin Williams off of her Instagram account. And I don't know if she had other accounts, but she says she don't know if she's going to stay on there or delete that account for good. But right now, she's going to stay off there. As a post she wrote, I'm very upset and hurt by some of the things that people have said about my father on this social media platform. I'm really thinking about I'm just going to stay off for a while so I can heal, and I don't know if I'm going to stay on here or permanently delete this account or not. That's sort of like what it said in her post. So we're sorry that that happened to you. But maybe you really didn't know how your father was, and maybe some of the things they said were hurtful, but maybe some of the things they were saying were true. But then some of the things that people will say probably were hurtful, because the truth does hurt. But then some of the things that they say were probably things they shouldn't have said at all. Because like a lot of people would say that he was homosexual, which I do know for a fact that Robin Williams was not that. So I'm taking up for you there. I know he wasn't homosexual at all. And to say that to be truthful, he was not. But anyway, let's move on to Facebook. A lot of people can getting a lot of inappropriate notices from Facebook saying some of the things you're putting on Facebook, because they're using things with algorithms and stuff to stop posting things. But when you look at the user agreement, or what they call the EULA, it says in there that you're allowed, that your information is valuable. You can put it on our site for free, and that's what gives it some intrinsic value. So a lot of people do that, and then they go and, do news reports and put things up there, and they censor some of the things you say or pictures you put up there. And to me, it seems like what they're doing is illegal, because according to the Constitution and according to Facebook rules, you're allowed to post things as long as it doesn't offend a community. That doesn't mean offending the government or offending Zuckerberg, Bill Zuckerberg. No, it just means offending other people in the community, like being racial and stuff. I read the rules. I don't put anything up there that's racial, and it may offend some people, but it's not enough to, some people may be offended by some of the things I put on there, but not all the things I put on there are intrinsically bad or going to stir or incite riots. It just is trying to get people to think about things. It's like an attack on, an assault on freedom of speech, in this country, and that right there, is wrong. And if nobody's violating the rules, because everybody puts things on there every day, pictures, videos, you name it, they should not be flagging people when they put things on there to inform people about what is going on in this world, like about what is going on in Missouri, for example. They've had peaceful protests over there, and the police are bullying people there around in the daytime, telling them they can't be in the street. 2 people have been shot down there. At least there was a report of a second person being shot that was fatally wounded. One guy was shot and killed, and his name was Mr. Brown. I don't know what his first name was. But, if he had his hands up when they shot him and killed him, it's really going to be really bad for the police. The New World Order, or the elite people, want us to have a riot with the police, and they want us that the police would become our enemy. So what I want to say to the police, that I don't think a lot of y'all are wrong. I think y'all are good, law-abiding people like we are. But I think there are some of the people that are in your ranks, in your departments, are the ones that abuse power and authority. And I think those people that are dictators, or totalitarian or Napoleon kind of people, those people you need to get out of your departments, because those are the people that are going to cause incite and violence, and it may cause a war in this country. And that's what the globalists or the elite people want, the fascist people want. Matter of fact, Obama could use these peaceful protests by something like that happening to where it could actually cause martial law in this country, like what we're seeing in Missouri, where they had a curfew, not at night, but they had one going into effect, in so many words, during the daytime. And then they said there was no curfew. That's what the chief said. And then at night, then there was a curfew. They were being told repeatedly to disperse and leave or go home immediately, and that this is not peaceful, when they weren't doing anything. All they were doing is just standing outside, and and that's all they were doing. And somebody threw a water bottle at one of the police, and instead of them going after the one guy, they just enforced martial law on, like measures on everybody that was there. I mean, this is totally wrong. This is happening in Missouri. Like a video that we sent out and put up there for you to watch. You can go to YouTube and watch it, or on Google Plus or Facebook or anywhere. You need to really look at that video. It's pretty bad stuff going on out there, and that's just one mock place in the United States where this is happening. And they can do it there. They're going to roll it out everywhere else. So that's why we need to stand up. Let me say something to all you churches that have this view that you should just sit back and do nothing. The Bible doesn't tell us to sit back and do nothing. We have a real, true, living God. And yes, things are going to happen towards the end, but you should not have the attitude that we should just let it happen, because that's what, that's what the country deserves, because of their decadence and weakness. Because the same thing could be true about the churches and some of you all, 503c churches. You should go out and take an active stand against people who are doing wrong like that, because we don't want to roll out. We don't want martial law being rolled out all over this country. like when you go to the supermarket, or when you go to a place like, say, the store, or the mall, or even the bus station, the train station, or shipping, or to get on a boat to go somewhere, or on an airplane, they already fraternize and grope your children and grope you, and then they want to do all that stuff everywhere else here before long, and even have checkpoints on the highway so they can do just that too. We don't want that, because when the police start have lines and have guns pointed at people, all that does is incite violence. All that's going to do, what they're doing in Missouri, with the people that are being, for the large part, being peaceful, it's going to incite and escalate violence, because a lot of people there don't have guns. However, they legally are allowed to have them. They say in the area in Missouri that gun sales are really high, and that people are buying up guns and ammo like crazy. And it's probably because of all the stuff that's going on with the police being there. They're wearing riot gear, and there's no rioting going on. They have M16s and Glocks and the grenade launcher so they can shoot gas to them, like tear gas. And they haven't done anything like that yet, but as far as I know. But the thing is, they have all this stuff pointed at all these people. I mean, it's like 80 of them, and they're drawn like a perimeter line, like it looks like something you see out of a military or out of like in Iraq. I mean, if you do stuff like this in Iraq or Afghanistan, you could get killed for something like this. In the way the police are acting, I mean, these people, they could end up getting themselves killed by doing these measures, because all this is going to do is just incite violence. Because when you have people pointing weapons and using laser, darts or parameters to act like humiliants, to humiliate people and to intimidate people with your weaponry and your vehicles, your military-like looking vehicles, there's no reason for that. And see, all that's going to do is make violence, and it could cause a war to break out in that area. And I hope that's not the case, but if you keep on pushing people, they're going to eventually push back. I mean, it's just all through history it shows that. So you think about that. Subscribe down below and tell people about us. And this is the news. And, we really need to pray for our country, and we need to stand up for our freedoms and our rights before we lose them. Because martial law is something we do not want. I don't want it, and I know most of you out here don't want it. So we need to get away from the TV, get away from the video games, and get away from the cell phones, and get out there and say something, do something to make a change for the better for all humanity. And stand up. Stand up. Don't give in to the hype. Don't give up. That's what the Lord says. Be assured I'm there with you in trials and persecution. But he's not saying just to sit back and do nothing. And anybody that teaches that in the Church of Christ ought to be ashamed of himself, because it does not say that in the Bible. We need to avidly fight for the truth and fight for what's right, because that's what God would commission and want us to do, even if it matters if we do die. Because some of us will die towards the end. But when we die, our death is not in vain. But we are to be faithful. We are to fight back with the word. We are to fight back by standing up and taking an active stance on what we believe in and what is right for the betterment of all people. And that's what the Bible does teach. This is Michael DeSilvis, preacher and evangelist at New Hunter Church of Christ. I'll see you later, and I'll hit you up with another update. Please donate if you can, and subscribe down below. And please tell me what you know. I'll see you later. Bye for now. I love you. Take care.